Hello, FB, and good morning. Happy Wednesday. Hollywood Divas. That's my show. I've even met some of them up here in my the food store I go to, Rouse. And I run into some of them. I said, "Do y'all really do that?" And they said, "Yeah," but I think some of it is skit. They write a script, I think, for some of the reality shows, which is taking a lot away from it. I like reality shows. I like anything reality. I did run into a posting that had a Caucasian woman. Thank God for her. And y'all say thank God, because she told the truth about diabetes and how certain type of milk, radiation, how the plan is to get rid of all black people through radiation. And I think it's working, because a great number of us do go out of here. A lot of my friends, I've had a lot of my friends transition with diabetes, getting rid of black people. There are no diabetes in Africa. So if it's if it's genetic, why don't all black people have an epidemic of diabetes like Africa? She gave that example, which makes a lot of sense. But a lot of us don't claim our ancestors or our people from Africa that we have. Some of us, we are really sick here in America. I don't blame African people. Some people say that African people trip out and talk about the American blacks really bad. And I said, well, they're telling the truth. I don't know what they not. What are we not? What are they lying about? That's because this is pitiful. America, black Americans in America, our decision-making process, the things that we are attracted to, the value, our values are so low, because we should have put our foot in Obama. We should have put pressure on him to say the right, at least verbally say the right things. If he had not had the power, Congress did not do that, did not stop him from doing that. That's because he's a part of them. You don't fight against your left hand. The right hand don't fight against, don't do that. So why didn't he bring up this matter that I know he knew about to the poor black communities? And you all are, oh, Obama. And then I saw a picture, and I know one of my friends, I'm not going to say her name, but she had posted it, that she was a beautiful lady. And I'm not going to, that Michelle Obama is beautiful, and she's intelligent, but she did nothing for 6 years. There's nothing to say about her. And there were situations where she could have used her powers in the black communities to do some of the things, like for the mothers of the children, start an organization to help rebuild the families that are victims of police brutality. She could have did that, but she did nothing but jumping jacks and vegetables. Vegetables and all of that is very important, because I'm starting to kind of change my eating habits and different things I don't do anymore that I did for a lot of years, just because of my health. And I do agree with that, but none of that is more important than the transition of young people. And when you think of, and I couldn't do that. I couldn't be a black person and have power like those people had. Holder, Obamas, Michelle Obama. All of those people had power, a lot more power than most black people, and then they did nothing. Trump did a lot more than what he's putting out. I don't know. I knew about Daley's black girlfriend a long time ago. But that was the mayor of the Dailies were in power in Chicago for a long time. You would have never thought he'd be with a black person and in love with her too. We have Donald Trump. I bet 10-1 Donald Trump is attracted to black women. Probably got him a black girlfriend because he takes care of a lot of black people. He always have. I don't know. He might be a better president. He might keep it real. I don't like the way he talks about immigrants, though. People that are really down on immigrants, I have a problem. I don't understand. Like here in California, I came here and everything is Spanish. The name of I got off at the Union Station, and it was amazing. That whole area is Indian or Mexican. And I'm like, well, how could this be America when everything is Mexican? Everything is Mexican. Well, we're right next door to Mexico. But yet and still, I think something was taken from those people. They had a war and they won it, so here California belongs to U.S. But the thing is, the real land, really, of all of it is Indians. Belongs to the Indian. They never did get their land back, but they believe they will. So I believe it too, because they're highly spiritual people in my way, in my direction. And I really admire them for not giving up their religion. I like that. But Obama never said anything about, I'm getting back to what I was talking about. I do that a lot because I'm trying to do a webcam and I'm trying to speed it up. But he didn't do anything. He didn't say anything. And there will still be black people loving that man. See how we misjudge. When you don't judge character correctly, we get hurt. So that's what black people do here. I don't know. I think it's the suit, the Harvard degree. What attracts black people? DeGrasse, Mr. Tyson was talking about it yesterday. There are some people that things trigger. Like Obama, it would go, ugh. But for people like me, it just goes, you sucker. You were no good. And your wife was not the best first lady at all. And I don't think she made an attempt to be. She did nothing. And there was a lot to do in those 6 years. Never will I do that again. I'm not going to get into the politics at all. I don't feel bad about it. They say a lot of black people died for voting. But did they analyze voting? Did they look at the policies at the same time? Are you all teaching yourselves about incidents like diabetes? Like this thing being spread all in the black community? You have to learn about the policies and all of that to be a good voter. So we had voters. We wanted to vote back in those days. We couldn't read. Most of us couldn't read. But we wanted to vote, and that's a big thing. So they instill. You gotta be careful about some of the things they instill on a consistent basis that does not work for you and does not work for our people. We have no sense of getting it right because we're steadily going down in the dumps, and we're taking the children with us. So we have no legacies. So that's pretty bad. Obama should have said something about that. And I can imagine why he didn't. Because it wasn't American enough. Oh, I forgot. He did teach me this line. It's the law. It's the law. So there's nothing I can do. Congress is stopping me. Congress wouldn't be able to stop him from mentioning something like that to black and alarming us, because that's pretty serious. You know what that means? Genocide. That means to kill us. And milk is what you give your children. Why what do you see? And the man, he had the power to do it, and he did nothing. I don't care what that man does after he gets out, just get out. I do have some champagne waiting for that day. I'm going to toast. Because he was a disappointment. Because he was black. He was a disappointment. Mr. Tyson, I'm going to look at this morning because he inspires me so much. If you did catch him on my timeline, I just love his theories and astronomy. You know, astronomy, I loved it when I was a little kid, a teenager. The Right On magazine I would get, and I would get my astronomy all the time. I loved reading about the stars and the universe. I always did. There was a stack of them when I went to college at Kentucky State University in my grandfather's garage, and he threw them away when he cleaned out his garage. All of my albums and everything. It was like I started a new life when I left to go to school. Funny, funny, funny. So please read it and tell me, most of you Obama lovers, why don't you tell me what you love about that man? I really would love, what are you seeing in that president? There are some people that said he did 5 things more than white presidents. Really? Is that all you're concerned about? Now I realize that it doesn't have to be a black person to straighten out policies in the black communities. Because I'm not going to trust you. I know black people. And I wouldn't trust you because y'all haven't did it. And there's a lot of people hating on me because I do not care for that Obama. You know, that's why I don't get likes and comments and stuff like that. But look what I do. That's how I think. I keep going. I keep doing it. And I'll be back on whatever I've learned from Mr. Tyson. He's the bomb. He's inspired me to even go to the museums here and try to do some research and how much more research I can do in just forever, for the rest of my life. I found a hobby, something I'm interested in. And so I'm really excited about that. Genocide in the black communities. Let's talk about that. Let's care. Damn voting. Okay. You know, like Mr. Tyson said, how can you vote when you don't know any of the policies? You don't know anything that's working. You don't know, we just voting because we black. Those days are over. Read about some of the policies. Really look at things for what they really are. How can you be a good voter if you don't know how to do those things? You don't just vote because you're black and you need to get a black man in office. That's not the reason to vote. So I'm not voting anymore. Whoever wins, they win. Immigration, I hope, has a safety, gives some kind of consideration and start working on people staying here in the United States and helping their children get situated. The kids that somebody said they sent the kids back. Did you know anything about that? I used to keep up with it, and I stopped because media wasn't feeding me. See, I'm a victim of that. And just because the media is not saying anything doesn't mean that things aren't going on. They don't put everything that really means something in the media. So those little children, they sent most of them back. And they've stopped somewhere because we haven't heard anything. And then there was a Mexican guy that was saying something with Donald Trump at his press conference, and he put him out. I mean, Donald Trump is not for immigrants. And I don't know why, because he's an immigrant. His family, if he looks, are not of this place. It's of somebody else. We should do some research on Trump. That's the only thing about Trump that's bothering me, is the immigration. Or whoever gets in there is going to tear immigration apart. I don't hear, except for Biden. If Biden gets in there, you know, he's a decent person besides being a political figure. And he, unlike the president, would speak out. And we would listen because we trust him. He's trustworthy. He's the only trustworthy person that's running. Hillary wants to go home to her grandbaby. I'm sorry, her mind is not in it. I don't blame her. If I had a grandbaby, none of that would come before my grandbaby. If I just look at that baby all day long, that would be enough for me. At a certain age, you know, all the popularity and all that stuff doesn't mean anything. That's the only thing about Trump that I don't like. Immigrants. You know, and I used to buy fruit over here in this 99-cent store, but it was spoiled overnight, and I said, something's wrong with this fruit. Some of the food in there, you got to really not eat canned food. I'll starve. I eat oatmeal. Just take a little oatmeal and a little milk, and that'll fill you up, and it's healthy. And I will eat. I can't eat meat. I tried to go back to meat, and I was eating some chicken. This is some chicken that I picked up, and it's kosher, because I don't like meat with a lot of blood. I don't like it. And I got Haitian background. I used to drink blood for sacrifices. But, I don't want bloody meat. So I was tearing it apart, and, I take the skin off, and I damn near tear the thing apart. So I shouldn't just eat it. But it was, I'm trying to force myself to eat it. And a hoof. It was like this. With the skin was inside. It looked like a little dog. When they take them to the Humane Society, here tons of cats are dying. And dogs. What do you think they do with them? What happens to them? Where do they go? No, there's no answers, right? Well, I think it's that chicken that I was eating. Because chicken don't have hoofs. That just made me sick. I can't do it. I got to give that to somebody else that might want to eat it. Because some people might eat cats and dogs. I don't do that. Just thinking about it, let me drink some water. Sad to be eating animals anyway. Oh God. There's nothing like water in this world. I tell you. Nothing. I love water. So, speeding it right along. Speeding it up. I'll be back because I'm going to look at some Tyson stuff. I'm glad that everybody is happy. Make sure you look at my timeline. I got some interesting things on it. The little young lady that spoke, her poem was off the hook. And I just thought young people might like that. It might inspire a lot of the young women how you should love yourself. I had that problem. I was in love with men that didn't love me. I all the time. I don't think I ever been loved before in my life by a man. Never. Because I didn't love myself. So you allow them to do things that they shouldn't do to you. So I'm looking at the monitor, and then I'm looking at that. So that's, and there is someone in the back. We are going to go for a walk to Griffith Park, okay, and then come back. I already been out at 4. Usually 4 o'clock, because I love the air at that time. See, Mr. Tyson is saying that there's so many things around us that's so special. like nature and everything. There's more to that. And that's what I want to learn. So I'm excited about this venture, because when I research on stuff, I wipe it clean. And then I come to my own judgment. And that's where people have a right to think the way they want. If you're a Christian and you're into that Bible, that's your thing. And it's not mine, though. As Mr. Tyson, he said, it's fine. This is a free country. Everybody can believe in whatever God they want to believe in all galaxies. But you cannot come in my classroom with that Bible. You cannot do that, because I do not exist. Nothing about me is in that Bible. Nothing. And I knew that as a child from the story I told on one of these webcams about my mother. I just don't believe you in that Bible. And you need to find out, where does it come from? Because it wasn't a part of you. Especially Africa. That's scary to me. They're overboard with, it's just too overboard. Every movie says, in God we trust. In God we trust. The first movies that I watched 4 or 5 years ago. What? Everything? How did Africa get like that? And that tribe that I posted on my timeline, they were not into Bible. That's a tribe that was hard to be put in slavery. That's amazing. It's a tribe to really study, because, wow, my grandfather was a teacher of African American history. Dr. Reverend M. Kelly. He was a wonderful, intelligent man. And that's why I'm like this. The studying part, wanting to know part. But I don't have to be Baptist and with the Bible. I have a right to have my own. If when I come into your place, I have to take the Bible. But when you come to my place, you cannot bring that. Don't bring that to me at all. Okay? All right. It's over. Have a good day. Bye for now. Ashe.